at rocklandnews.com. Thanks for joining us today. Here are your hosts, Tom Osa and Mike Kluger.
All right, as I mentioned before on our last broadcast, Mike is still out in the field, and we got some exciting stuff happening with Rockland Music Fest this summer. But first of all, let's report on the news that occurred today. First of all, as I mentioned, thousands of residents in West Point and the town of Highlands were impacted this morning by a regional power outage tied to a substation issue in Harriman. Orange and Rockland Utilities restored the power by approximately 11:30 a.m. At the height of it, about 3,000 homes were reportedly affected, but all good right now. And we're going to have some more updates about the Admiral's Cove thing in a few. But first of all, we want to bring on our guest for today, an oft guest, often on the show with us, Town of Haverstraw Supervisor Howard Phillips. Thanks for joining us today on AM Rockland News.
Oh, Tom, it's always a pleasure, and thank you again for asking me to come on. And I'm getting tremendous amount of feedback from residents that are listening to your podcast, so that's a wonderful thing.
Well, thank you. And hopefully it's both positive and negative, because I guess we got to have both. But,
Yes.
We're trying to refine the product, and we appreciate how you've been on the air so many times with us. It's really cool.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You know what? To keep the people informed as to what you're doing and what's going on is always critically important. Of course, this time of the year, it is challenging. We had that snowstorm, which was just unbelievable. It
Yeah.
wasn't just the amount of snow, it was really the length of the period of time in which it delivered all the snow. So the longer the period of time, the more challenging it is for the highway departments, the DPWs, our parks departments to get to everything, because it just drags on, and you don't want to be dumping salt, frivolously if it's going to continue to snow, and then you got to plow it and push it all back off of the roads.
Mhm.
So I have to say our superintendent of highways, Bart Gordon, did an amazing job with the highway workers. Our parks department with John Frizzalone, they were in there doing all the different town facilities. It was a long couple of days, and then every municipality still recuperating from it. You're going out, you're doing sidewalks, you're going out, you're doing intersections, where the roads intersect, especially where we know the bus stops are for the students.
Right.
We're out there trying to clear all of that. It was a literally exhausting effort for all the people involved, and I just want to thank them and tell them what a great job they did. And I think Tom, I think we're the only town that plows the state roads in our municipality. So we have Route 202 and Route 9W that we have to plow, and our guys do just a great conscientious job, and they're going back and forth. It can get very tiresome, and you got the wing plow, so you're driving these big, enormous trucks with a tremendous amount of weight on it. Of course, their bodies are all filled with salt, and it could be a dangerous job. So I just want to thank them for everything they did.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully after the storm settles down, and we still see the snow almost a foot still out there. Hopefully they got some time off afterwards, or were able to take a break for a few. I mean, even on Sunday at the Stony Point Seals Polar Plunge, I looked at the icy river, and literally it was like a foot and a half of ice on top of the river.
Yes.
And that's like
Tom, I was there. Did anybody go in, or did they just go up to the edge of the water and then retreat?
Yeah, they went up to the edge of the water. So, I mean, I was there in a penguin suit just to, create the festivity thing. But yeah, and there were people in bathing suits down to their skivvies. They went up to the edge of the water, and they just did the traditional USA chant, which I like, quite frankly.
Yes.
And then, it's a really good benefit. It's a charity for 3 kids that are dealing with some medical issues. So, yeah, they were out there in droves, about 100 people. And then 750 people watched. I didn't get a chance to see. I was running around all over the place, waddling actually.
Yeah.
So.
I was there. I have to say, I think it was the coldest Super Bowl Sunday and Stony Point Seal Plunge that they've ever had. It was that cold. I mean, I should have brought a scarf because I had my big down parka jacket on. I had my long johns on, my boots. I was warm, but my nose felt like it was going to get frost nipped. It was
Seriously.
that cold.
Yep,
I
me
was
too.
amazed at, and then you had guys that were just in their bathing suits standing there for Lord knows how long a period of time for all the ceremonies to get over. But there were enough of us elected officials. I won't use the P word. So
Uh,
I'm sure, you know, by the time we were done speaking, we warmed up the place a little bit with all that hot air.
yeah.
Let, let's hope so. I told Stony Point they were responsible. Amy was responsible with her councilman to really melt some of that snow. I was disappointed though. They
Yeah,
didn't seem to have enough or sufficient hot air to do that. But it was great. I compliment the supervisor. She did a wonderful job
yeah,
on, and I think Amy's going to do a terrific job for Stony Point. Comes from a
yeah.
great family. I got to meet her husband there at the plunge. Very
Yes,
nice gentleman, and her heart's really in it. So that's great to see. But just
absolutely.
to talk about the Stony Point Seals, what a great group of people.
Absolutely.
They've raised so hundreds of thousands of dollars for families in need, and it doesn't matter where the people live. If you really have a child that needs medical bills, they're going to open the door and trying to help you. So, you know
Definitely.
what? That's what it's all about. We're only on this round ball for a short period of time, and as long as we're spinning around, we've got to try and help other people as much as we possibly can. And the
Yep.
sheriff's patrol was out there with their horses. Sheriff Falco doing a great job. You know, he's a Stony Pointer, Tom.
Yes, yeah. Brian Heyman up in Tompkins Cove, he recently interviewed the sheriff on his podcast. It's called Bare Wires. He's a guitar kind of guy,
Yeah.
and he had him on the podcast. And I'll post it in a little while again, but I'll send you the link. It's actually a really good interview. Like
Oh,
it's
that's I know Brian very well. His older brother, his sister, and I went to school together, so I know them very well. Not very nice people. Very,
definitely.
again, another family that gives so much back to our community, and it's great to see. I remember Brian when he had a lot longer hair, though. So that's dating. That's dating me back quite a few. And he's a good Republican too. We won't talk about that on this show, but he's a good Republican.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like, and right now, and it's funny because I'm in this weird place, like reporting the news, and I'm really genuinely trying to like look at it from both ends and like, just report the facts, right? So
Yes,
I'm in like this weird place where it's like, and I got to figure out what I'm doing about my affiliation. I grew up as a Republican, and I'm
uh,
gonna always be like that. But like, I think like, just for the sake of the news thing, I'm just gonna like list myself as independent, right? And then just try
yes,
and bring in the information and so on. But the way I look at it is like the numbers. The numbers have to add up. If
yes.
the numbers add up properly, then you got a good government and everything's rolling along smoothly. But I don't know. That's just my perspective. So,
It's very true. You know, I grew up, and if you were Irish Catholic, you were Jack Kennedy Democrats.
yeah.
Now, a lot of the Irish Catholics that came out of the Bronx were Republicans, but if you grew up, most of the people were Irish Catholic, were Jack Kennedy Democrats. We were very proud, the first Catholic president in the history of the United States.
Hmm.
And, you know, he was that type of person that could inspire young people to go on. Well, look at the Peace Corps. People joined there and went on to do wonderful things. It's very, very sad and tragic that his life ended the way it did.
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, I don't even know if he would be accepted in today's National Democratic Party. There seems to be a real split in the party, and it's sad. You know, whenever you find people that are saying things that divide people, you know, get away from them. Find the people that are trying to unite. listen to everybody's ideas.
Hmm.
We always used to be so proud of the fact that we would say that we have a big, gigantic tent and everybody is welcome into it. You
Hmm.
know, some people now are demanding litmus tests, so I don't like that because I've worked with everybody, even on the other side of the aisle.
Right. You
And
got
when the election's over, people want you to put that away. They want you to work for them. So, and who has a monopoly on ideas? Who has a monopoly on the
it. Yeah.
facts? I wish we all could say we do. That's why you have to try and work together. Those individuals that are now building walls and saying, okay, unless you agree with me on this, this, and this, you can't be my friend or you can't be part of my political association or affiliation.
Right.
It's sad.
And
We
then the
need to,
lines of communication get severed, and then how do you get to that consensus? Because you
it's
need
very
everybody at
true.
the table, sort of thing.
The smartest elected officials in Congress and in New York State and the Assembly and Senate are the ones that know you have to form coalitions. And one week you may be in agreement on an issue, the next week you may be in a disagreement. But as long as you keep talking and communicating, that's the key. And you don't slam doors, you don't shut people out. That's how you get things done. And it is the art of the compromise. We look at look at the great compromise. You look down through the history of the United States, and it's been both parties being able to come together and compromise, which has really grown our country and made it so successful. This idea that you can't work with other people is just foolish. I've been so opposed on some issues with others. Yet then the next week we're working together to achieve something else. So
Hmm.
I'm hopeful that the better goals will overcome this division that we have, and whether it's with the Democrats and Republicans, or whether it's with Democrats or Republicans and Republicans,
Hmm.
we need to get back to working together and solving things, and that's what really the people, the voting public wants. They don't want us yelling at one another or just say refusing to work together. And speaking of that,
Yes.
we've been working together on a number of things. As you know, it's Black History Month, so at
Yes.
our
RCP just announced something as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So at our next meeting, if anybody's interested, which will be Tuesday, February 24th,
Hmm.
we have the wonderful pleasure of honoring some people. I don't want to say who they are. We have three wonderful, outstanding people in our county that we're going to be recognizing for their accomplishments and leadership. And then we're going to have three students from the North Rockland High School that we're going to be recognizing as well. So that's going to be again Tuesday. Oops, I said the 24th. That's the 24th. It is it is the 24th. Okay.
Tuesday. Yeah. Two
I
weeks
did
from
get it
today,
right.
I think. Right.
Yes, yes. So the 24th. I always have to remember that February and March have the same days on the same dates.
It's a
So it's
lot.
going
I get it. Yep.
it'll be Tuesday the 24th at 7 o'clock. Everybody in the public is welcome to come. We always enjoy this. We have a wonderful time during Black History Month, and then we have the Hispanic History Month. It's great to really recognize so many people that do things that normally do not receive the recognition that they're due. So we're very, very excited about that. And of
That's
course,
awesome.
we just had the wonderful opportunity also to honor and recognize Alexander Carpenter, who achieved his Eagle Scout Award
Oh.
at our last meeting. He did a
Mhm.
wonderful project at St. Peter's, St. Mary's in the village of Haverstraw, which is the oldest Roman Catholic church in Rockland County. He did a beautiful beautification program for the church. And it's unique to be able to claim that you've achieved the rank of Eagle Scout. So we congratulate Alexander. He did a wonderful job, and I'm sure he's got great things in his future, because
Yeah.
it is hard work to get to that level. The number of badges that you have to commit yourself to and achieve is really extraordinary, especially when you're a young age and you're climbing up the ladder. First you start, with the Cub Scouts, and then you become Boy Scouts. So it really is a wonderful, spectacular honor. So congratulations to him.
According to your post, I believe it was yesterday on Howard Phillips' Facebook page, Alexander also served as Assistant Senior Patrol Leader of Troop 2019, Troop Scribe and Den Chief. So it seems like he's got a lot going on in
Yes,
addition to achieving all of those badges.
it is. And you know what? Normally, when you discipline yourself, in any field, whether it's physical or whether it's mental, you build such character, but you also build within inside yourself a determination that you're going to succeed. So I wish more young men would do this. And of course, the Girl Scouts have a beautiful program as well.
Mhm.
But when you do that at a young age, it really imbues in you the sense that you're going to be able to overcome. You're going to be able to achieve anything, any goal that you set forth in your life. And that's the hardest thing, I think, growing up, especially when they get in the teenage years. They get so disillusioned with everything that goes on in the world.
Oh,
So they
sure.
need to have programs like this where they can focus. I mean, that's what the great thing about athletics is. I've often said to a number of different teams when I've had the opportunity to speak to them, if you can discipline your body, you're at the same time disciplining your mind.
Right.
And whether they realize it or not, and you need to take that same discipline and apply it to the academics. And when you do, you're going to just climb that ladder and you're going to continue to succeed. So I hope that we have more programs like this. The Boy Scouts of America is amazing. And you know what I would say to all the churches, because there's so many churches out there, synagogues, that need help because of financial difficulties. And when these young men are going for their Eagle Scout, they come in and they really pay for everything and they organize everything.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those religious establishments and you need some help, check out the local troop within your town or county, because I'm sure they're going to have somebody going for that rank. It
Certainly.
really is great to see. With that said, we also have our meeting, town board meeting tonight,
Gotcha.
which is it's not as exciting as they have been, but we have a lot of in the beginning of the year. You have a lot of pro forma resolutions. We just went out. We bought for our parks department, for our golf course, all the fertilizer, seed, chemicals, everything that you can imagine, from topsoil to sand to everything clay. So we get a lot of those in the beginning of the year. So we're all ready and set to go once we hit the ground and the good weather comes around. Of course, we also have our community development program by our Community Citizens Advisory Board, which we establish. The way that it's structured, you need to have some senior citizens, some that are handicapped, and some that are minorities on these boards. And they look over and they go to different areas where we're eligible for funding. And they then recommend to the town board different projects to go after for this funding. And of course, then we apply. And we've been very, very successful in the past. Of course, Bowline is very eligible, so we've been able to secure the money for Bowline there, and it's worked out very well. And speaking of Bowline, I have
Yes.
to tell you, we're bursting at our seams. What is that old expression? We're a victim of our own success.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We thought by
I'll be
doing
okay for a while on that one, but go ahead.
yes. But we thought by, the pool was getting so crowded, so we developed other different recreational things. Like we have the obstacle course that the kids, more for teenagers, they can run through. We have, oh my goodness, probably 5 different playground areas. We've got the gazebo, we've got the John Grant gazebo, the Tom Lawless Pavilion. We have a volleyball court. We have a fishing dock and a fishing pier. But the more you do, it seems the more people join, Tom. So
Uh-huh. I know. It's like it feeds itself almost.
yes, it does. Yes, it does. And
Mhm.
this year, you'll be the first to know this. We may have to rearrange where we shoot off our fireworks display, which I know people always like to know when that is. It's going to be July 2nd with the rain date the 3rd. But looks like we may go out and hire a barge to be able to rent to
Oh,
shoot the
okay.
fireworks off. We're not certain yet. We're looking to secure one right now, but we're very excited about it, and it'll be more centered to Bowline Park, and it'll still be a great location for anybody that likes to watch it along the shoreline.
Well,
So
it's
we're
so
very excited.
from that perspective, and if we've got to move, that's cool. I usually hang out at Lady Warren Hose Company,
Oh, do you?
fire department. You think it'll still be like viewable from there, or?
Oh yes, yes. They do a
Okay.
great job. They have a big barbecue for everybody. They have
Yes,
plenty
they
of
do.
seating. Yeah, it's very nice. I think they'll have a really incredible view of it now. And
Mm,
so if you were sitting at Bowline and you were staring straight at the bathhouse and then the pool's right behind it, we're thinking about pushing it back from the pier that's in the Hudson River and shooting it off from there. So that should be visible to everybody along
got
that
it.
shoreline. It
And
may
it's
actually, we go out in the river, it may actually be better for people to see.
got it. Yeah, and it seems to be timely as far as like setting this up because this is the 250th year anniversary.
Isn't that
Uh,
amazing?
Yeah, so it should be festive, and hopefully all will hold up as far as it being security and everything. But having a really festive, enjoyable time in the area, definitely something to look forward to, especially during these cold winter months.
Tom, wouldn't you think that the Super Bowl, the NFL, with it being the 250th anniversary, I like Spanish music. I like Latin music. I like Spanish guitars. I like the Latin music, Latin
Yeah,
dance. But you would think for the Super Bowl, the 250th anniversary, you would have done something like, R&B, some Motown,
mhm,
rock and roll, throw a little disco in there. But you would think you would get a genre of all different American music, country, and maybe have some on the big screen. Some of the great performers, Aretha Franklin, Elvis Presley. Yeah, you could throw Frank Sinatra in there, the
yeah, totally.
Beatles, yeah, the Supremes. The Four Top. You could go on and on and on. I wish they would have done that this year and held what is he? Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny?
Bad Bunny. Well, I saw the original Bad Bunny. It was on A Christmas Story, and the kid that dressed up in the pink bunny suit, and he wanted
Oh,
the
that
the
was a
BB
great
gun and
movie.
everything. That was the original Bad Bunny
That
in
was
my
a great movie. And the dogs come in at the end and knock over the Christmas. Oh man, that was a great movie.
I
That
got a
was.
meme from Douglas Mann from the Wayne Hose Fire Company up here. He sent me a picture. It was like, this was the original Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it's, and it's funny because, and, I'm sure I'm not going to delve too much into this, but, from what I understand, even language barriers aside, from what I heard, like some of what was said in Spanish was pretty, well,
Oh
let's just
geez.
put it
I
this
I
way,
just
ladies and
heard that.
gentlemen.
I oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's a
And
shame.
nobody knew, oh geez. I don't know why he had to pick that song.
Yeah, I it definitely, like even how do I put this? And I take your point about Frank Sinatra and the Four Tops and everything. Like even if they had, like for instance, like Michael Jackson, U2,
Yeah, yeah.
Tom Petty, like all of those cats, they never
All
put
of
anything
them.
out there where like you had to close the kids' ears in order. I mean, it's like what the heck, man?
Yeah.
I don't
I
get
mean,
it.
it's 250 years. This only comes around once. You don't get to do this again in our lifetime. Where will you be 50 years from now, Tom? Huh?
Yeah, I plan to be like when I go, I plan to be like put like sent out over the ocean like in a t-shirt machine. Just
Yeah.
send my ashes over the ocean or something weird
Yes,
like that.
exactly. Exactly. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
Look, the NFL is interested in selling their product, expanding their product, and I get that, but at the 250th anniversary,
yeah,
you have
exactly.
so many great, great performers That was an opportunity lost. Roger, he should go back and just rethink that whole thing. But we'll see.
Well, you know what got to me is, did you see the logo?
No.
So it was in the middle of the field. There was the logo for Super Bowl 60. And again, Howard, I get it. I understand, the communication and everybody gets along, obviously, but it looked like one of those logos that somebody just like plastered together on AI. I'm just like,
Oh,
did anybody
really?
put any effort into this whatsoever?
Oh,
It just,
jeez.
it's like, this is it's supposed to be a rough and tumble game, and there's some risks involved, but it just didn't, it looked like something from a Barney cartoon. I don't know.
Oh,
It was
jeez.
weird.
Really? I
So
don't
anyway,
get it.
that's my
I don't get
opinion.
it.
Yeah.
And the game, I mean, a great defensive game, but you want a little bit more excitement. So, but I
Seriously.
feel great for Darno because I'm a Jet fan. I'm
Yeah.
admitting that I'm a New York Jet fan. That's hard to do, but
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that Darno was so overdue.
Hmm.
The man just hung in there, and he got released from one team, then another team. He did really well with the Vikings, and they said thanks, but no thanks. Seattle was smart enough to pick him up, and
Absolutely.
amazing. What an amazing story. It
Kind of like
tells you
almost like
about the drive.
you remember Kurt Warner back in the
Oh,
day
yeah,
from the
that's right.
Cardinals? Yeah.
That's right.
He's
Yep.
like a folk hero. That type of
Yeah.
archetype, I think. So
Yeah.
it's awesome. And we have some local sports that happen in the area. Like for instance, we have the New York Boulders. They got their lineup for 2026 out there. So it seems like the summer is going to warm up nicely with these festivities for 2026 and the
Well,
250th
I'm
anniversary.
very envious of that. I wish I had Boulder Stadium here because that is a beautiful little, you can do so much in there, not just baseball, concerts. You can have people come in and do different types of, lecturing, speeches, inspirational speakers. You could get the high schools to come in and do different events with the high schools there. I think it's a beautiful little stadium there, and they've got really a gem of a thing there. I mean, we have Bowline, we've got the Haverstraw Marina. Every town should have something that they can really shout out about and say how proud they are. We're working on a few other things coming up. I think our new park, the Haverstraw Sports Recreational Complex, is going to be amazing too. But you know what? You want something like that. And Ramapo, they're very fortunate that they have that stadium there. That could be just, something really spectacular. So
Yeah.
I hope they succeed there. I went to two Beach Boy concerts there. I loved that. That
Yeah,
was
me
a lot
too.
of
You were
fun.
there too?
Yep, yep, yep. That was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
And you know what? I'm sure they're going to do more of that. They got Mike Speck's got some big plans, and he's got a great head on his shoulders. He's going to do very well over there.
Well, you
With
also
that,
have the North Rockland 5K race that's happening June 7th. I believe that's
yes,
the date for it. So that's a
yes.
considerable sporting event locally.
Yes, it is. And Coach Cassarella, great guy. I'll tell you, when we first started this, I don't think we would reach that many people, but we really have. I mean, we've been handing out checks of anywhere from 10 to 11,000 to three different families every year. And that's a great thing. But again, the people just coming out and supporting different events is just, it's amazing. It really is amazing. Just people care, people have big hearts, and when they see a family in need, they really do respond with unbelievable kindness and generosity. So I'm
Absolutely.
glad to see that. Yeah. And we'll be
Awesome.
doing it again. I don't think we picked any of the recipients. Rich Spada does an amazing job for us. He's our youth officer. So a lot of the students from North Rockland got to know Rich really well.
Yeah.
And they come back. They come back and participate, which is wonderful to see.
I spoke
And
with
of course,
I'm sorry, go
Stony
ahead.
Point, Jim Monahan was there. Amy's there now. We got
Yeah.
to get Amy to start to run in these races. My knees won't allow me anymore. I have to get approval from them, and they reject me every time.
Yeah, just
But
get a card. you know.
Yeah. Great idea. Or wait at the finish line and
Right.
then run in with everybody else. Yeah, how's
And say,
that?
where was everybody? It's just, I was the lightning bolt today, you know.
Throw a little water over yourself. There you go.
I spoke
There
with
you go.
Officer Spada this morning. I think they're putting together a youth police academy. Uh,
Yes.
they're putting that out there. So they're going to send a press release to us. We'll get the word out around town.
Another great program. Talk about knocking down barriers and walls and building bonds of lasting relationships. We've had
Yep.
a number of these students that have gone through the program go on to become police officers, but it again it really opens the door to the especially the teenagers, that they see the police in a different venue, they get to know them, but mostly they get to experience these split decisions that they have to make. They take them through all these programs. It really was a great idea when we started it, and I think we're in what, our 30, the academy, 34th class, something like that. It's
Wow. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah. We started doubling up because the demand from the students is so great. We could probably do it, 10 times during the year. That's how many students have responded. And again, it's a real team effort because we get the Sheriff Lou Falco to participate. We get the state police to come in. We really, at times, we've had Homeland Security, we've had FBI, and the two police departments, Haverstraw and Stony Point, really help one another out on that. So again, just the more you can do to bring community together, to bring people together, the less problems we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned that you have the town board meeting tonight. Any other items that are coming up over the next several weeks that you wanted to note?
Well, as I was saying, that we have the Black History Month, which will be at the next meeting.
Mhm.
And then I think just there we have a number of contracts that we're going to be passing. Those are, again, pro forma contracts.
Right,
And
right.
then again, I don't know if people realize, but the golf course, the Phillips J. Rotella Municipal Golf Course, uh, registration should have been out in your mail. So take a look at that. We will be starting that at the end of the month. We get a big response from that. And then, of course, anybody interested in outings, that will be coming up. We have a number of organizations, and we have so many leagues. We've got a youth league, we have adult leagues, we have senior leagues, we have women's league. And again, our golf pro does an amazing job, Mike Lodine. Our superintendent of the golf course, Chris Dyroff, does an amazing job. His assistant, Scott Esty. As I told you, Tom, the course is now ranked fifth of all municipal courses
Wow.
out of 157 courses in the state of New York. So we went from sixth up to fifth now. I told
Mhm.
Chris we have to keep going until he gets to be number one.
Yeah.
He told
Yeah.
me that they may be a little difficult. I said, well, your job's on the line. Does that help at all?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
you know, so all of a sudden impossible is nothing. That mentality comes into play. It's like go for number one.
he's been great, and this aerifying program that he does with the greens has really spruced up the play of the greens, and that's what the golfers really enjoy. Make it challenging, and as you know, everybody changes the cups in different locations on the holes every single day, so that's great to mix that up. But
Mhm.
we're very happy with it. Of
Should be
course,
an exciting.
we got the border collies out there chasing all the geese off. That's been an enormous success. I tell you, that has really been great for our course. Since we initiated this way back, it's probably about 15 years ago, we have reduced the geese, and that means you've reduced the geese feces on the course, which has been just a great, wonderful gift that we have. And those border collies do an amazing job.
Yeah, you don't want that getting in on the golf cleats. I actually have an interesting story that happened to me years and years ago. I'm on a beach on the Jersey Shore, and I'm with my then girlfriend. I'm in my 20s. I'm 50 years old now, so this is a long time ago. And I declare my love for her on the beach, and literally 5 seconds later, a goose basically splats on my lap. It's just like dive bombs.
I knew you
splat
were
on
going to
my
say that. I knew
crack.
you were going to
He's
say that.
cracking up. So,
Oh, geez. Oh,
didn't have
God.
a chance to respond. It didn't work out. I don't know why, but it's what
Well,
it is.
you got to take a shower after that, Tom,
Exactly. Yeah. So
That's what happens when you're down the shore with the seagulls. Oh my God. Talk
everybody
about
cleans up and
scavengers.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But you
So
know what? That's another thing because the geese population, sooner or later, we're going to have to do something about the deer and geese population because it's become so dangerous. And really, I think it should be done on a state level. The Canadian geese, they used to be migratory. They're not anymore. They really become indigenous to our community.
becoming
Uh,
squatters.
Yes, exactly, exactly. But we need to do these things really to protect the public. And
Yeah.
I think I told you the story of the one gentleman who drove a bus, and every morning he'd be out at 5 a.m. in the morning to get to his job, going down 202. 3 times a deer ran into his car. And then
Jeez.
finally, he put that, the state police use it. It's like a whistle in your grill. You
Mhm.
can't hear it, but the deer can hear it. And he told
Oh,
me it was working very well. So let's hope that goes. Listen, I won't hold you up anymore. It's
yeah. Yeah.
always a pleasure. I thank you for allowing us to update everybody, and we will talk to you next week.
Absolutely. Town of Haverstraw Supervisor Howard Phillips, thanks once again for being on AM Rockland's News this afternoon.
Thank you, Tom.
All right. And for those of you that have been listening over the course of the day, we got some really great stuff out there today. So thank you all who contributed and helped out with this particular live stream on Rockland's News today, Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. This podcast is sponsored by our friends over at Yabu Fence Company, Dana Pest Control, located in Tompkins Cove, New York. Easy Temp for all your ice machine and commercial refrigeration repairs. Kobe Sushi Music Lounge, jazz music on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Learn more at KobeSushiNY.com. Susan Bova, Coldwell Banker Realtor, Whole Shot Bagels, Haverstraw, New York, and the New York Boulders baseball team. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Take care.
I thought that